We're now on Dcad lesson 13J, and we're continuing with drawing organization and sheet notes. One of the things that I realized, I'm going to hit Z for zoom and zoom up on the area here having to do with our sheet notes. And one of the things that I realized was that the control joints in the concrete floor slab aren't indicated in the sheet notes. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to zoom out pretty good like I am. I'm just going, because this is going to be a relatively simple sheet note, I'm just going to select this text and call up my info box, and I want that text to be in layer 16 because it's referencing the foundation plan, and that's the text layer for the foundation plan. So I click that into layer 16 in the info box, and now what I'm going to do is I'm just going to select the text in the info box, and I'm going to type, and make sure I'm in caps here, I'm going to type control joints at concrete floor slab. TYP for typical, and hit that. And so it looks to me like over here that's just a little bit too long, so I'm going to just take the typical off and control X, which cuts it, and then hit enter. And then I'm going to select the text down here and select it, and then control V, and it installs the typical in there, and hit that. And actually now I want to change my color to my current color to black, and I'm going to hit the A to turn that black, and I'm going to this line up above, I'm going to hit the A and turn that black. So what we've done is we've modified our sheet note legend and included a note for the control joints. And one of the things that I'm going to do is I'm going to select some of these lower text boxes in the sheet note boxes in the sheet notes and delete them. I'm going to leave about 3 additional ones in case I think of something later on that I want to add into the sheet notes. But what this is going to do is as I select these, and I'm going to just hit delete, what it's going to allow me to do is scoot my section drawing over a little bit further. I'm going to select this box, and then I'm going to select both of these points. See that they both turn to a dark blue. I'm hitting H to go into orthogonal mode. You can see it up here. Now I'm going to right click on this one point, and it'll grab both of them because they're both dark blue and selected, and just kind of scoot up orthogonally here and just set a point with my left mouse button, hit escape, and so now I'm going to hold down control and use my scroll button to scroll out a little bit, and my scroll bar to move over. Now I'm going to select this section drawing, and just hit M for move, and just move it over here a little bit further. So that way we just have a little bit more spacing for our sheet notes that we're going to be incorporating into portions of the section drawing. I hit escape, hit Control W to zoom out, and now I'm just going to save. So now we have all the sheet notes that I think we're going to incorporate into the drawings, but that might change as things move along. One thing that I can see on my floor plan is, I'm going to hit Z and zoom up to that floor plan, is that both the callouts for the doors, windows are on the drawing, but also it's showing, if I select this, it's showing that the attributes, look here in the info box, selecting these attributes causes them to show up in the info box. Now I'm going to hit escape, because what I want to do is I want to have the attributes in the drawing, but what I want to do is I want to hide them while I'm dealing with sheet notes and text and all that. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to hit Q, and that calls up the options, and I'm going to go over here to the text tab and hit that, and then down here near the bottom of these dialogues, I'm going to, where it says attribute display settings, I'm going to hit none and none, and then I'm just going to click OK, and now you can see that the attributes are no longer showing on the floor plan. So that's going to free me up to deal with my sheet notes. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to scroll over here to my sheet notes, and I'm going to just be taking them one by one. Now, one of the things I'm going to do to make this a little bit easier so that I know that I've dealt with them as I go along is I'm going to hold down Control and zoom out a little bit further, and then use my scroll bar on the right hand side over here. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to select all of these sheet notes that actually have text on them, aside from the red text notes. I'm going to select all of those, and now I'm going to turn my color in. I like this brighter red right here. I'm going to turn my color to red, and I'm going to hit the A to apply to selection. And so now all of these sheet note boxes are red, so I can turn them black as I utilize them, as I install them into the drawings. That will help me keep track of the sheet notes that I've already dealt with as I move along. So now I'm going to hit Z and zoom up on these first sheet notes and read what they say. So sheet note 41 is 2x6 exterior wall studs, 24 inches on center, and that looks like a sheet note specifically for the section drawing. So some of these sheet notes will actually be installed on more than one drawing because they're referencing maybe the same item but showing it in different ways on different drawings. So I'm going to select this first box 41 sheet note, and now I'm going to turn my color back to black, and I'm going to turn this one black because I'm dealing with it right now, and I don't need to move my hand or anything because it's my first sheet note. So I'm hit Control W to zoom out, and I'm going to hit Z to zoom in on the section drawing here, and I'm going to hit I'm going to install it over on the inside of the drawing here, and I'm going to hit N for duplicate, and I'm just going to set this guy like right about here. And I'm going to hit Z for zoom and zoom up on this area, and I need to draw an arrow showing, indicating that this is moving to these studs. I'm going to get up here a little bit closer. I can see that the lines in my section drawing need to be addressed. Actually, they're really pretty thin at this point. So before I go any further, I'm hit Control W and zoom up on the section drawing. And what I want to do is just select the section drawing. I don't want the insulation or the gravel or any of that kind of stuff. So I'm going to hit Layers, go L for Layers, and I'm going to scroll up here to layer 75 and just highlight it, and then right click and scroll on down here to select highlighted layers and select that layer, and then click OK. And so what I want is, so all these lines in the section drawing are selected now. So what I want to do is I want these to all be 0.02 in width. So all these lines are selected. I don't want to change the line types at all, but I want to change the width of them. So I'm going here in my info box, and over here at the left hand side you can see where it has a line indicated, kind of a diagonal line. I'm going to left click on that, and I'm going to go down to width and click into that box. I'm going to type 0.02, and fill wide lines is already checked. I'm going to click OK. And now you can see that it's changed all these line types all these lines, no matter what the type is, into a 0.02 line width. That makes them show up just a little bit better in the section drawing. So anyway, I'm going to hit Control M, or I'm sorry, click on the drawing somewhere, hit Control W and zoom on out, then hit Z to zoom up into the section drawing here, and now I'm going to hit the greater than or shift period to create the arrow, and I want to be in layer 76 though. So because this is for my, and actually I can change those after the fact. So maybe I won't worry about that right now because I'm going to be doing sheet notes and various drawings on this sheet. So what I'm going to do right now is I'm going to activate the arrow command by holding down Shift and hitting the period key, which is the greater than, and so you can see the arrow here, 0.35, which is the correct size. And so now I'm going to just right click, and I'm going to hit, and I'm already in orthogonal mode. I want a nice straight arrow here. I'm just going to go to about the middle of the stud and just left click and then hit my scroll button to initiate the command. Now this is not the type of arrow that I want here right now. I'm going to change this particular arrow because it's kind of landing in the middle of the field of the stud. So I'm going to select the arrow here in the info box and go down to the solid dot arrow, for lack of a better term. Okay, so now you can see that sheet note 41 is indicating that these are 2x6 studs, 24 inches on center. So now I'm hit Control W, and I'm going to hit Z and zoom up on my sheet notes and see what my next sheet note is. Okay, so here I'm talking about the glulam beam, specifically on the floor plan, but I'm also going to indicate the glulam beam on the section drawing. So what I'm going to do here is I'm just going to select this guy, and I'm going to go ahead and turn it black by hitting the A over here. Hit Control W, and now I'm going to hit Z and zoom up over here on the floor plan, and I'm going to hit N, and you can see that it's placing my number 42 sheet note right here. I'm going to hit the arrow key, which again is Shift period or the greater than, same thing. And I'm still in orthogonal mode, which is fine. I'm going to right click to the pointy part of this box, come out a little ways to the left, and then I'm going to set one point, and then I'm going to hit H to go out of orthogonal mode. And you can see now, and I typically like to put my arrows at about, maybe 30 to 60 degrees, somewhere around in there. And I'm going to hit K at this fat garage door beam line. And then I'm hitting my scroll button, and that initiates the arrow command. So hit Control W, and that's still highlighted here. So what I need to do is I need to zoom up on the section drawing and hit N, and create an area over here for my 42 sheet note, and just left click, and I'm going to do the arrow again, and again that's the greater than key. Right click to snap to the center of my box there, hit H for orthogonal mode, come out here a little ways, then hit H again to toggle off orthogonal mode, and then just hit K to draw an arrow to that beam. And I can use the arrow there because I'm pointing to a specific line. So we're moving along with our sheet notes now. Now I'm going to zoom up to my sheet notes to see what my next one is. Hit Escape. So this has to do with our trimmers, which are supporting the garage door beam. So this is only going to occur in the floor plan. So I'm going to select box number 43 here, and I'm going to turn it black. And this time I do want to set a handle on this because I may want to align it with another sheet note box. So I'm going to go to my set selection handles and right click at the point to snap to the point of my sheet note box there. Hit my scroll button to initiate the command, hit Control W, and now I'm going to hit Z to zoom up on the floor plan here, and I'm going to try to figure out, where do I want to locate this note? I think I'm just going to put it down here, and that way I can point to both double trimmers. So I'm going to hit N and kind of put it somewhere sort of in the middle here, and left click to position it, Z, and I'm going to hit the arrow command, again greater than. Right click on this portion of the sheet note box, hit H for orthogonal mode, come on down a ways, and now I'm going to set one point by just hitting the left button on my mouse, H to go out of orthogonal mode, and K at the center of these double trimmers. And so there's my arrow pointing to it. I'm going to scroll over and do the same thing on the other side. Again, my arrow command, the greater than, or Shift period, same thing. Right click to the pointy part of my sheet note box, hit H for orthogonal mode, keep it nice and straight, come out a ways, set a point with my left mouse button, H to go out of orthogonal mode, and come over here and hit K at the center of those two trimmers. And then hit my scroll button, and there's my arrow going there. So now I have my arrows indicating both of my double trimmers for the garage door header. Control W. Now I'm going to hit Z and zoom over here to my sheet note legend again. And we have 4x6 headers for both our door and our windows in the garage. So I'm just going to hit escape to unselect here. I'm going to select number 44 here and turn it black. And I want to put a handle on it just in case I need it. So set selection handles, right click at the front of it there, it snaps to it. Hit my scroll button to initiate the command setting the handle, Control W. And so now what we're going to indicate is these additional two headers. So I'm going to hit Z for zoom and zoom up on the floor plan here and hit N to duplicate. And here I'm going to position 144 box and N, and I'm going to position the other one over here. And now I'm going to zoom up on this guy by hitting Z, arrow command, again greater than, H for orthogonal mode, and then K, and hit my scroll button to initiate the command, Control R to regenerate. Now you can see my arrow. Now I'm just going to use my scroll bar to scroll over to the other side, hit the arrow command, the greater than, right click on this pointy part of the sheet note box, hit H to go into orthogonal mode, come on over to my header and hit K, it snaps to the line, and then hit enter or my scroll button, either way. And Control R regenerates the drawing. You can see my arrow pointing to this header now. So now those 4x6 headers are indicated on the floor plan. I can zoom back over to my sheet notes, hit escape to unselect that last one. So now we're talking about the floor slab. And this is kind of wordy, but it specifically tells exactly what's going on with the floor slab. And so this I will probably be showing in 3 places, both the floor plan, the foundation plan, and also the section drawing. So I'm going to select sheet note number 45. Notice how I draw my rectangular selection box really large out to one side, and that's because when I let go of it, it puts the handle, the temporary handle, out in the middle of that rectangle that I was using for the selection, which moves it away from this sheet note box. And the reason I want it away from it is I want to set a handle on this sheet note box, and I don't want this to be in the way because it might snap to that instead. So I'm going to go down here to set selection handles, left click on it, come over to my sheet note box and right click on the left point side there, and then hit my scroll button to initiate the handle selection. Handle location, Control W. So I want to put one of these in the floor plan. I'm going to hit N and just kind of stick it in here somewhere because this one's going to be kind of in the middle. I also, you know what I just realized? Control Z. I'm going to undo that. I need to turn it black. So you can see right here that in the info box it's showing indicating it's red. So I'm going to hit the A and that turns it black. So now I can hit N to duplicate and stick this guy up over in here in my floor plan and just left click. Hit N again. I'm going to put one in my foundation plan here, out over in here somewhere. And I'm going to hit N again. Actually, I'm going to zoom up on my section drawing here and hit N again. And now this time I want to stack these guys above each other. So I'm going to gravity move using the comma key. And I'm going to arrow up. Just that's probably good right there. And then I'm hit the insert key 0 to insert, which sets a point. So this will be my first one. So I'm going to arrow greater than, and hit H for orthogonal mode. So I'm coming out straight. And then I'm going to set a point. I'm hitting H again to toggle off of orthogonal mode, so I can do my kind of a slopey arrow here. And K, pointing to the slab. So there's my arrow there. Now I'm going to hit Control W zoom up on the foundation plan, and here I want to do something a little bit different. I'm going to show different arrows. So arrow command, again, the greater than. Right click to this side, H for orthogonal mode, come out a ways, about like so, and then H to go out of orthogonal mode and up like so, and then set another point, and then I'm going to hit my scroll button. Now I'm going to do something really fancy. I'm going to right click here, and it selected my sheet note box, but I want to hit enter to select because I want the arrow. And so now what I'm going to do is I'm going to hit N to duplicate the arrow right there, and then hit R to rotate the selected arrow, hit Tab and type 180, and then hit enter, and then hit M to move it over to this side of that little sheet note box. Now you can see I have arrows going in both directions. So that's kind of nice because it essentially showing that this is all this concrete floor slab area. So now I'm going to select both of these arrows and hold down Shift and get the next one. Set a handle right here on the point of my box. Scroll over to my floor plan and hit N and stick them on there. Just right click to it and there they are. So now I have the slab indicated both on the floor plan, on the foundation plan, and also by hitting Control V, you can see it also on the section drawing. So that's how we're moving down the drawing to deal with these various sheet notes. And sometimes the sheet notes will, like that last one, will appear on more than one drawing. So that concludes Lesson 13J. We'll pick up where we left off on the next lesson as we continue to work through the sheet notes.